Hey everybody, welcome back to Laptop Seniors. Today we're going to go back to Argentina for just a little bit. We're going to cover the aftermath of after the new president has taken over and what he's done, just to kind of bring you up to date on that. And also we're going to talk about the visas there for like a retirement visa if you wanted to retire in Argentina. I'm not going to go super into detail about it, but I'm definitely going to give you some top line stuff. So you can get a gauge of what that's like. Had a lot of questions about that original Argentinian video that we did about, hey, maybe you should reconsider Argentina for retirement. We kind of thought it was just going to be a throwaway in advance of the more bigger, important one that we thought we were going to do about comparing Panama, Argentina, and Uruguay retiring in one of those three countries, because we've lived in all three of those, and we thought that would be interesting. And a few people had asked for that too. I thought, okay, sure, fine. And then the whole Argentinian election came up, and wow, that seemed to hit a hot wire for sure. So many people have watched that video and weighed in it on the comments, and around the world, all of a sudden, it's like a petri dish for economics, because what the new president is doing is really radical and different. And there's governments all over the world and other people watching like, wow, can he pull this off? Because if he can, he's going to be redefining economics for a really long time. How that's going to end, no idea. And, it could go bad, could go great. It's definitely not going to be quick. That's the one thing everybody kind of assumes. It's not going to be one of those, oh, you're going to turn this around in like a few months. Yeah, that's not going to happen. But anyway, there's still a lot of good reasons why you would consider Argentina to retire in there, and we're going to go through those. So first up, let's talk about the aftermath. I'll give you a quick aftermath. One is, how are the people taking it? It appears to, from everything I could find watching videos online on YouTube that are very, very recent, after he's done his changes, at least the first rung of those changes, it appears that the population generally is still sort of right with him, because they need change, they want stuff fixed, and hoping he can do it. And what he's espousing will come true and turn out fine. So it seems like the brunt of people are still with him. Unions and the people that got let go, which I'll tell you about in a second, they're like, wow, you can't do this. This is going to be, pandemonium. This is going to be anarchy, blah, blah, blah. So we'll have to see how that goes. So one of the things that he did was, he did two things when he took office. One was a speech that told everybody, this is where we are, which is pretty amazing for a politician to basically step up and go, we're broke. We have no money. We owe $400 billion to the IMF. They're breathing down our necks, bankruptcy, and, this is the state of where we are. We're screwed, basically. That's kind of, I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much it. You just don't hear a politician say that. Then what he did was he devalued the peso, although I guess you could argue that he didn't really devalue it, but certainly on the bankers exchange, he took it from in the mid 300s, 360, something like that, pesos to $1. He took it up to 800 and something, but the black market rate was already running at 1,000. So, did he devalue it? I don't know. He really just took it up to where reality actually is, because that's kind of where it is, around 1,000. Actually, he didn't, almost reality, not exactly. So he did that. And then the other thing that he did was, there were 18 departments of the federal government. He eliminated 9 of them. Now, I don't know how big those 9 are that he eliminated. It's quite possible that they were maybe 1/3 the size of some of the ones that remained, but he definitely got rid of 9 of them, which is like, whoa, holy moly, there's a politician for you, jumping in and doing something different. So that went on. And also he's, at least so far, has espoused to really crack down on criminal stuff. It's like he's taking a hard line on it, not an easy line. Now, the big reaction is because immediately after that, he went to New York City, Wall Street, talking to people, government, the U.S. government and stuff like that, probably asking for money or asking for help or whatever. And before he unveiled his plan, he probably told them, this is what I'm going to be doing. That's what we're going to go through, because there's a Bloomberg article how the IMF have taken it and basically moneyed institutions around the world who would or would not invest in Argentina. How are they looking at this? Is this a good thing that he's doing or a bad thing? Are they going to put more money into Argentina again, or are they not? The big question, of course, is what's been the reaction to what's been going on and what this new guy's been doing? Well, from Bloomberg, just a couple days ago, this is what happened. And this is the way the fallout's coming. And at the moment, it's pretty decent. The Argentinian bonds have risen to two-year highs. He's done the shock plan where he's cut the agencies. That also was firing all the people in 9 of them. Maybe not all of the people. Some of them got moved around a little bit, but essentially it was a massive cut, a huge austerity package. And that's something that the IMF usually likes to impose on countries. If you can remember back, they imposed that on Greece and Spain and some of the other countries when they were in financial troubles. I don't know, I want to say like 7, 8, 9 years ago. He's already beating them to the punch, so to speak. But it's what he believes is going to get the country out of the problems that it has, which is basically on a runaway freight train toward hyperinflation, which would be the worst. Anyway, just going on with the article, here's what the graph looks like. I mean, he took off over right here. I mean, that's a pretty big jump, like immediately. And he's pretty much taken the country back, at least financially, back to 2021. And a little bit into 2020, which is a long way from, this crash down into here. So far, investors, as you can see, are taking the announcements as the first steps in the right direction. A lot of enthusiasm. So that's pretty good. Whew, man, a lot of moving parts to this, I mean, how it's going to turn out, that's anybody's guess. It's impossible to tell at the moment. But, at least that guy's swinging for the fences. But, he may strike out or he may not. But if you're retiring, I'll just say this one more time. If you're retiring down there into Argentina, Buenos Aires, or somewhere outside of Buenos Aires and some of the enormous amount of great cities in Argentina, because it's a big country, if you're coming there and you have US dollars or euros or Canadian dollars, so much of this is not going to affect you at all. You're going to be golden. You really will, because you are going to be, well off, or very well off, or rich in comparison to the people who are there now, who are sort of stuck in the country, only have pesos, only earn pesos, until everything shakes out one way or the other. Just to kind of throw this out to you, I found out that we have another friend who we met in Argentina when we were there in Buenos Aires through our original friends that I told you about in the first video. And he bought another condo in Recoleta in Buenos Aires. He did that about 4 or 5 months ago and is, refurbishing it now. The first one he had there, so now he's got 2 in Buenos Aires. The first one he had, easily worth $1 million US, and that was like a decade ago. And he also owns 2 beautiful, amazing condo apartment-y, more like houses, really. They're so large, in London, in downtown London proper, okay? And then another house in Canada. He's an international tax lawyer that knows the treaties and tax laws and finance, way better than 99% of the people on the planet. I throw that out only because he chose to buy another apartment in Buenos Aires 4 or 5 months ago. Everything that was going on with 140% inflation rate, 180% before this election, he chose to wade right into it because I'm sure he's figuring either everything's going to work out fine or I have my money out of the country, it's not going to affect me, and all of that. It's just an interesting perspective because he's one of those guys that, you would pay attention to what he's doing. Again, I'm not giving, legal advice or financial advice. I'm just sort of throwing it out there that a lot of people have opinions on this, and the only opinion that is really valid is you just don't know which way it's going to go. I mean, that's the only 100% valid that you go like, that's the correct answer. Don't know. But people are making bets on both sides of the equation. Here's a guy that's choosing, it's going to be okay, at least for him anyway. So I throw that out there. All right, let's move into visas. This is the Argentinian Rentista visa at a glance, and you can see on the screen Just take a look at it. Roughly 2,000 bucks US dollars is what you would need in a monthly income coming in from out of the country, $24,000 a year. This is going to move a little bit because of inflation. You know, each month this is going to go up slightly, but not a lot. So I think you should be considering, okay, if you get, US or Canadian or some other Social Security, that's roughly $2,000 a month. That's going to be fine. The income types that qualify, they're pensions from public or private sources, again, like Social Security, passive income, such as rental income from outside of Argentina, dividends, annuities, interest payments, CDs. Basically, if you can prove to them you have a lot of money that'll generate $24,000, they're going to be okay with it. Now, here's where it gets different from other countries. It's a temporary residence visa that's renewable every year. Each year, you have to keep renewing it. But to keep it active, you must spend at least 6 months per year inside Argentina. So, you want to plan on going there and actually living there. Although you can leave for 6 months, which is pretty decent. In other countries, you can't do that. Some of them you have to stay for like 2 years straight. You cannot move, you cannot leave. I mean, you can go out for vacation, but you can't leave for 6 months at a time. So in a way, it's not that bad. Now, this is interesting. The contact on the ground mentioned that applying on the basis of a savings lump sum may now be possible, provided that is remitted to Argentina. The problem with that, of course, is Argentinian banks are brutal. You do not want to move money into Argentina, at least not at this point, not a large amount, and they may not even take a large transfer for $24,000. So, that could be a problem, so you probably wouldn't want to be considered doing that part of this. This was interesting. Will I be able to obtain Argentinian permanent residency? After holding the residency, this particular visa, for 3 years, you become eligible for permanent residency. However, this is interesting. It actually makes more sense to skip this and go right for after 2 years instead of 3. 3 years you can get a permanent residency visa, or in 2 years you can actually get naturalized and become a citizen. Way better, because once you're a citizen, you have permanent residency forever. So, when you think about it, why would you wait 3 years when you could do it in 2? That's a pretty fast timeline, one of the fastest timelines in the world for actually getting naturalized and getting a citizenship of another country. And it's a pretty good citizenship, too, all around. One more thing, this is, I'm sure, going to be in flux a little bit as the country goes through the major change that it's going through right now because of the new president. And he's changed a whole bunch of things. As I mentioned, this could have a really major impact. But for now, this is just the visa that I wanted to go through with you because so many people have been asking about it. Okay, hope that clears some things up. I had you some information if you've been considering Argentina, or you're just interested, you're curious about it. That election just seems to have hit a hot nerve for people around the world, and then can't get enough information about Argentina and what's going on there because it's so different. Anyway, if you like this, hit the like button, and certainly if you like the channel, subscribe. We always appreciate that. We're, I don't know where it is right now. We probably have crossed the 3,000 subscriber mark, which is amazing to us. So thank you if you're one of our subscribers. And again, if you haven't, it'd be nice if you did, okay? Until our next video, see ya.